Hello everyone. In this module, we will understand some important functions which we can perform after creating an array. Here, we will discuss some basic concept on NumPy array. First, we will discuss how to copy a NumPy array into another array. After that, we will discuss how to create a range of numbers by using np.random function. In the last, we will discuss how to generate a random number in NumPy array. Let us briefly understand the concept of these topics. Firstly, we will discuss how to copy a NumPy array into another array. Copying an array means a new array is created and inside of this array elements will be the same as the original array elements. There are two methods for copying an array into another array. The first one is numpy.copy function and the second one is assignment operator. Now we will briefly discuss these methods and learn how to copy an array into another array. The first method is numpy.copy. In NumPy, this function is used to return a copy of the original array. The copy of the input array is physically contained at some other location and the element stored at that specific location. So here is the syntax to make a copy of original array into another array. NumPy.copy is the function name and within this function there are three parameters. The first one parameter is a. This parameter indicates the input array and the second one parameter is order. It specifies the memory layout of the copy and by default it takes k value, which means the layout of the input array as closely as possible. The last parameter is sub-ok. It will check the condition. If this parameter is true, then subclasses will be passed. Otherwise, if the value is false, then the array will be returned as a base class and in the output it always returns the exact copy of the input array. Now we will see an example of this function. Here I have taken an example and in this example first I have imported the NumPy library. So guys, remember one thing, you don't need to import NumPy library every time while using Jupyter Notebook. But if you are using VS Code or PyCharm, then you have to import NumPy library package in every file. So after importing the NumPy library, we have created an array name that is number of cars sold with 9 elements in the np.array function. Next we have used the np.copy function to copy the content of number of cars sold elements and it is assigned to another array. So after executing this code, it displays the creation of array and the copying array. So after using the numpy.copy function, now we are going to discuss the assignment operator. Assignment operators are generally used in Python to assign values to variables, but we can also use them to copy one array into another. Now let us use this method practically. So here first we have created an array by using np.array function and within this function we have assigned the two-dimensional array. So after printing the two-dimensional array, we are using the assignment operator. So result is the new declare variable and equal is an assignment operator. We have assigned the result variable with COVID case, where COVID case is the NumPy array. After executing this code, the output comes creation of array and the copying array. Now we will understand how to create a range of number by using arange function. Basically, NumPy offers a lot of array creation by using different methods, but arange function is one of the function that is used for numerical ranges, and this method will always return the empty array object that contains evenly spaced values within the given interval. So basically this is an inbuilt range function for integer argument and you can define the interval of the values within the array. This function takes 4 parameters: start, stop, step and dtype parameter. The first one parameter is start. This parameter indicates the start of an interval and by default it takes 0 value. The next parameter is stop. It specifies the end of the interval. And the third one parameter is step. This is an optional parameter and it specifies the step size of the interval. And the last parameter is dtype. It specifies the data type of the NumPy array. Now let us use this method practically. So here I have taken an example and in this example first we have created an array np.arange function and within this function we have assigned the 3 parameters. The first parameter is start and assigned the value that is 3 and the next parameter is stop. Now after creating an array, now we want to display this array. To do this we are going to use the print statement and within this argument we have set the numeric value variable that is array. So after executing this code, it displayed the numerical range that starts from 3 and end with 15. After using the NumPy.arange function for numeric ranges, now we will understand how to generate a random number in a NumPy array. So basically NumPy library provides a module that is random, and this module stores the function which is used for generating random numbers. The main purpose of random numbers is used for sampling and testing. Using the random module, we can create thousands of numbers by using random module. There is no prediction while using the random module. For example, if you roll a dice, then it will get some random number between 1 to 6. So here is the syntax of numpy.random function, and within this function there is only one parameter, that is size, and by default it takes none value. Now let us see an example of how to use the random function with an integer value as an argument. So in this example we use the random function, that is np.random.random, with an integer value as the size of an argument. So in this function, size indicates the number of elements available in an array. So in my case I have set the size value, that is 14. So after executing this code, it displays the array and that contains only 14 elements. So after understanding the basic of NumPy random function, now there are lots of functions that exists in the random module to generate random numbers. Here is the functions which are available in the random module. Now we will briefly understand about these functions. The first function is random.rand. It is used to generate a random value in a given shape with the specified value, and it will always return only floating point numbers, and the numbers range will be 0 to 1. If we do not pass any value as a parameter, then it will return only a single value. So here is the syntax of random.rand, and within this function there is only one parameter, which is a dimension of the input array. If you want to use the d0 parameter, then it specifies to control the number of values along with x is 0. If you use d1 parameter, then it indicates to control the number of values along with x is 1, and so on to n. Now let us see an example of how to use the random.rand function with argument and without argument. So in this example we use the numpy.random.rand function without any argument, and it will return only a single value. In the next case, we have passed the dimension as an argument, that is 3, 2, that indicates number of rows and columns. After executing this code, it displays a two-dimensional array with decimal values. Now we will discuss about the random.choice function. So basically this function, we can say that when we need a random value from a given list of values, then this function will easily generate a specific number. So here is the syntax of random.choice function. This is the function name, that is random.choice, and within this function there are only 3 parameters. The first one parameter is a. This parameter indicates the list, or you can say a input array. The next one parameter is size. It is an optional parameter and it always returns the output shape. The third one parameter is replace. This parameter will check the condition of whether the sample value is with or without replacement. By default it takes true value. And the last parameter is p. By default it takes none value and it is an optional parameter. Now let us understand how to use the random choice function in NumPy. In this example, first we have created a list that is number of choice of values, and within this list we have assigned a numerical integer values. After that we have used the np.random.choice function, and it is used to select the random numbers from the list. So after executing this code, it displays the random value generated, that is 22. Now we will understand our next function, that is rand8. This function is a built-in function in random module, and it always return a random integer number between high and low limit. So here is the syntax of random.randint function. And within this function there are 4 parameters. The first one parameter is low. This parameter specifies the starting value and it is the lower limit of the random number. The next one parameter is high. It specifies the ending point and it is the upper limit of the random number. The next one parameter is size. It is an optional parameter and it will return the output shape. And the last parameter is dtype. By default it takes int data type and it specifies the data type of the array. Now let us see an example and get the random number between the given ranges. In this example we use the np.random.rand randint function and set the lower and upper limit. The lower value is 23 and the upper value is 46. So after executing this code, it displays random number between 23 and 46. In my case, the output comes is 46. After generating the random numbers by using rand.int, now we will discuss about random.uniform function. So this function is basically return decimal numbers between the given limits, and those decimal values are drawn from the specified range between high and low. So here is the syntax of random.uniform function, and within this function there are only three parameters. The first one parameter is low. This parameter indicates the starting point for the range of integer values. By default it takes 0 value, which means if you set low equal to 0, then the possible value will be 0. The next one parameter is high. It specifies the ending point for the range of a given integer. The last one parameter is size. It specifies the number of elements in the output array. For example, suppose if you set the size equal to 4, the output array will have 4 elements. Now let us create a two-dimensional array of random numbers by using np.random.uniform function. In this example, we want to create a two-dimensional array. For this, we have used the np.random.uniform function, and within this function we have set the low and the high value. Low value starts from 10 and the high value is 14. Along with that, we have also set the size parameter, that is 2, 3. 2 indicates number of rows and 3 indicates the number of columns. So after executing this code, the random number lies between 10 and 14. As you can observe that it is a two-dimensional array. Now we will understand what does random.shuffle function in NumPy. So basically it is used to mix up the order of the values in the array randomly. Suppose if you want to shuffle the elements in a NumPy array, then you can easily use the np.random.shuffle function, and this method takes only one parameter, that is x. This parameter specifies the array which we want to shuffle. Now let us take an example and check how to use the random.shuffle function in NumPy. In this example, we have used the np.array function for creating an array named shuffling of card, and then use the np.random.shuffle function for changing the order randomly. So after executing this code, it displays the array in the order of rearrange element. Now we will discuss about the random.permutation function. So basically this is a mathematically function and gives us the random sample. It returns the shuffling of an array with rearranged elements. If the input array is a multi-dimensional array, then it will return the shuffled along with its first text. So here is the syntax of random.permutation. It contains only one parameter, that is x, and it will also check the condition. If the input x is an integer value, then it will randomly permutate. In this example, first we have created an array by naming of list of numbers, and within this array we have assigned the numerical integer value. Now we have to shuffle the elements. So to do this, we are using the np.random.permutation function, and within this function we have assigned the list of number array. After executing this code, it displays the list, and in the list the elements are rearranged. So the last function is random.seed. This function is used to declare the random numbers, and it will set the integer starting value which is used to generate a number. It takes only one parameter, and this function makes the output predictable and the output value will remain the same. So here is the syntax of numpy.random.seed function, and within this function there is only one parameter, that is seed, and by default it takes none value. Now let us use this method practically. Here first we have imported the random module. After that we have used the random.seed, and within this function we have set the 20 numeric integer value. So after executing this code, it displays the random number. So with this we have completed the copy, arrange and random function.